The osprey is very unique among North American raptors for its diet of live fish and ability to dive into water to catch them. Ospreys are common sights soaring over shorelines, patrolling waterways, and standing on their large stick nests. Hunting ospreys are an amazing sight, diving with feet outstretched and yellow eyes sighting straight along their talons. Ospreys are very large, distinctively shaped hawks. Despite their size, their bodies are slender with long, narrow wings and long legs. Ospreys fly with a marked kink in their wings, making an M shape when seeing them from below. Ospreys are brown above and white below, and overall they are whiter than most raptors. From below, the wings are mostly white with a prominent dark patch at the wrists. The head is white with a broad brown stripe through the eye, and the juveniles have white spots on the back and shading on their front. The osprey is the only hawk on the continent that eats almost exclusively live fish. In North America, more than 80 species of live fresh and saltwater fish account for 99% of the osprey's diet. Captured fish usually measure about 6 to 13 inches in length and weigh 1/3 to 2/3 of a pound. The largest catch on record weighed about 2.5 pounds. On very rare occasions, ospreys have been observed feeding on fish carcasses or on birds, snakes, squirrels, muskrats, and salamanders. Ospreys probably get most of the water they need from the flesh of their prey, although there are reports of adults drinking on hot days.
His wing looking up. He's waking up. Some of the nests have had 3 chicks make it all the way to fledging. Normally ospreys are migratory, but we have a group of species around.
Let's learn more about their behavior. Ospreys search for fish by flying on steady wing beats and curved wings or circling high in the sky over relatively shallow water. They often hover briefly before diving feet first to grab a fish. Unable to dive to more than about 3 feet below the water's surface, ospreys gravitate toward shallow fishing grounds. You can often clearly see an osprey's catch in its talons as the bird carries it back to a nest or perch. Ospreys are unusual among hawks because of their reversible outer toe that allows them to grasp with 2 toes in the front and 2 behind. Barbed pads on the soles of the bird's feet help them grip slippery fish, and when flying with their prey, an osprey lines up its catch head first for less wind resistance. They usually roost alone or in small winter flocks of 6 to 10. Nesting ospreys defend only the immediate area around their nest, rather than a larger territory. In breeding season, males perform an aerial sky dance, sometimes called fish flight, with dangling legs often clasping a fish or nesting material in his talons. The male alternates periods of hovering with slow, shallow swoops, as high as 600 feet or more above the nesting site.
The adult male one's kind of tricky. It's the 2 little nicks.
Ospreys have a wide range of habitat. They can be found around nearly any body of water: salt marshes, rivers, ponds, estuaries, and even coral reefs. Their conspicuous stick nests are placed out in the open on poles, channel markers, and dead trees, often over the water. An osprey can live until 15 to 20 years old. They may log more than 160,000 migration miles during its lifetime. Scientists track ospreys by strapping lightweight satellite transmitters to the bird's back. The devices pinpoint an osprey's location to within a few hundred yards. In 2008, over just 13 days, one osprey flew 2,700 miles from Massachusetts to South America. Over several studies, ospreys caught fish on at least 1 in every 4 dives. The average time to make a catch was just 12 minutes.
So, yeah, the adult to the right, and then the almost as big as the darker one. We're gonna leave these with him. We'll leave these with him. Grandbaby. Most of the chicks are, you see the little guys sticking their heads out? Most of the chicks are already fledging, so we'll see some as we go along that'll be the same size as the adults.
An osprey will lay 1 to 4 eggs, and they will incubate from 36 to 42 days. The eggs are cream or pinkish in color, and they're spotted with reddish brown. Their nesting habitat must include an adequate supply of accessible fish within about 12 miles of the nest. Open and elevated nesting sites help to keep them free from predatory mammals such as raccoons.
And that is the mom. You see all the brown specks on the breast feathers.
The male usually fetches most of the nesting material, sometimes breaking dead sticks off nearby trees as he flies past, and the female arranges it.
And you wonder, why would they build their nest in the middle of the water out here? They did all these extensive studies to try to figure out why. And they just figured out, so they have an address, so they can get their mail delivered. No, but seriously, it's much less chance of raccoons and snakes crawling up in your nest and eating the eggs and the chicks.
Here's a mom giving shade to her chicks to keep them cool.
What a good mom. Yeah. I don't know, there must be some kind of advantage or some reason, because this nest, the same female, was late last season. Really late nest. Chicks grow pretty quickly. 2 months they go from egg to flying.
How old are they now?
These guys are probably about 6 weeks maybe? Yeah. 2 or 3 more weeks, about 3 more weeks they'll be fledging.
Osprey nests are built of sticks and lined with bark, sod, grasses, vines, algae, and more. In a pair's first season, the nest is relatively small, less than 2.5 feet long and 3 to 6 inches deep. But after generations of adding to the nest year after year, it can easily be big enough for a human to sit in. Osprey eggs do not hatch all at once. The older hatchling dominates its younger siblings and can hog the food brought by the parents. If food is abundant, chicks share meals in relative harmony, but if food is scarce, the younger ones may starve to death. Newly hatched chicks generally weigh 2 ounces, but they fledge only 7 to 10 weeks later. This mom has a fish in the nest, and she's about to feed her young.
I felt these are about really smaller, but they're also white on the
The mom is feeding the chick. Ospreys are a conservation success story, and their populations are still growing. With help by bans on certain pesticides and the construction of artificial nest sites, their numbers are coming back. The pesticides poisoned the birds and thinned their eggshells, and their numbers crashed in the early 1950s to 1970s. The effort to ban those pesticides after the 1972 U.S. DDT ban, the populations rebounded.
His head. On a really hot day later on, she might get her wings wet and kind of stretch them out over her chicks and keep them cool.
So cute.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the second one for a while.
As natural nesting sites have declined from tree removal and shoreline development, Specially constructed nest platforms and other structures, such as channel markers and utility poles, have become vital to the osprey's recovery. Ospreys are still listed as endangered or threatened in some states, especially inland where pesticides decimated many populations. It is very important that we all work together to protect this amazing species so that their population numbers keep increasing in the future.